Coming into Belen, in my elementary school and in pre-K, everything before Belen, I had never received anything below a 90. I was a pretty good student. I was in the spelling bee. I was in the states for spelling bee. Yeah, and you know, everything was. I was always on the dean's list, the principal's honor roll, the honor roll, and then I came into Belen in 6th grade, and I had straight C's. My parents didn't really follow up on it. I didn't really know. I didn't really know about Net Classroom. They didn't know how to work it. The following year, 7th grade, was the first year that I had summer school. Yeah, I had summer school, and immediately after that, I joined Magis. I joined Magis back when Mr. Vasquez was in Magis, when it was first invented, actually. And it would just be me and several other students in a room, much like how detention is. And there would be no tutoring. It would just be us in a room for 2 hours, supposedly doing our work. That's kind of scared me a little bit. In 8th grade I came back, I was still in Magis, and I didn't have summer school. In 9th grade, however, I had summer school. 10th grade, I had summer school. And by 11th grade, it kind of hit me that college was coming up. College doesn't really like summer school. So one day, at the beginning of the 2nd semester of junior year, you know, I was saying, oh, okay, I did bad last semester, I'm gonna do good this semester. As I always say, and end up with low grades. So I'm in Miss Leonez's class, and I get called to the office, and I start walking, and I'm wondering what I did. I don't know what I was doing. I don't know what could have happened, but I go into Ralph's office, and he sits down, and he has the most grim look on his face. And he tells me, Chris, we're gonna have to ask you to leave. I had a lot of terms that I was under 2.0, and at that moment I had at least a 1.7. He told me that there was a chance that I could have taken to make it up, at least in that day. I had 24 hours pretty much to make up any work that I've done, and if it magically raised my grade to above a 2.0, I would be allowed to stay. So I went home. I didn't tell my parents anything, and I picked up my art history book, and I picked up my economics book, and I looked through the grades for any discrepancies and anything. And I did over a semester's worth of work in one night, and I didn't sleep, and I was working up until 7:30 when I had to leave for school in the morning. I got to school and I turned in the work, and I sat through my day nervous. I was looking around, and you never notice Belen until you see it, until you don't have it in your hands anymore. You see it in a completely different way. You can see it with the kids who go away to another school for financial problems and end up coming back, like one of my friends. He's one of the most grateful kids. He's incredibly grateful to be in Belen. But finally, Ralph calls me into his office. Father Willie is there, and he says that I'm allowed to stay. I'm not supposed to be here right now, and in fact, tomorrow I'm graduating. Father Willie sat me down and we signed a contract that if I were ever to fall below a 2.5, I would be asked to leave the school. I signed the paper. My mom and dad were there to witness it. They signed the paper also. Father Willie signed the paper, and I shook hands with him, and I shook hands with Ralph. That semester, I ended up with a 3.5. The following semester, in senior year, I ended up with a 4.0. And this past semester, in senior year, 2nd semester in senior year, I ended up with a 4.0. I more than doubled my GPA in Belen seemingly overnight. And I've written my college essay about it, and I've written a lot of work about it. I've done a lot of thinking about it, and I've realized the one thing that was different from what I did before and what I'm doing now is maturity. Organization and time and other things like that, it all falls into place after maturity. Maturity, the only difference between immaturity and maturity is that you shouldn't get good grades because you don't want to be punished by your parents, and you shouldn't get good grades because your parents won't let you go somewhere because of it. And you shouldn't try to get good grades just because, solely on what Montesi and the other Magis administrators tell you. What really kicks in is when you get good grades for you. When you do something for yourself, and this might click for a lot of you, because it's true for me. I can be on my way to clean my room, and my mom would tell me, go clean your room. Your room's always in a mess. And then suddenly, I wouldn't want to clean my room anymore. Why? Because I was originally going to do it for myself, and now I'm doing it for someone else. Eventually, it doesn't get done. When you want to do something for yourself, you do it for yourself, and you don't do it for anyone else. And indirectly you could, because you can do it for yourself because you want to make someone else happy. Like my parents, who suffered 5 years of, their oldest son pretty much failing out of Belen. And I had to do something about that. So now I have a 4.0. I do feel like a changed person. I'm a lot different than before. Before, I always thought I was right. I would kind of go into Magis and do my own thing. I wouldn't really go to tutoring except for Padilla. But Padilla's amazing. But the greatest thing you can do is to see what it's like outside of Belen. I've seen other high schools. It's nothing like this, and you would want to stay in Belen. You should fight for it. It's really a good thing. In middle school and early high school, people would tell me that Belen is one of the greatest schools ever, and I would be like, no. This school is not for me. Everyone here is kind of like, it's not for me. But now, even the people who I didn't like before, even the people who I've never talked to, now I'm graduating with them, and they've become my brothers. I look forward to going to school, and now it's too late for me to look forward to going to Belen. But I look back on at least a year and a half that I had in my right mind, and I'm gonna regret not being mature about it before.